Welcome to Metal Welding Lecture Series by Professor Joyjeet Ghosh.
This is the sixth lecture of a series of lectures.
This lecture will be on gas tungsten arc welding, GTAW, or tungsten inert gas arc welding, TIG. He will be discussing about the gas tungsten arc welding process. He will also discuss the GTAW welding basic equipments. Gas tungsten arc welding shielding gases are also discussed. Electrode in GTAW and size of the electrode in GTAW are also discussed. GTAW advantages, limitations and applications are also discussed. So, do not miss and watch the full video. For the next video in the lecture series, please click the suggested video link above. You may also click on the playlist at end of the video to access all the videos.
Please subscribe this channel and yes, do not forget to like and share.
Also click on the bell icon to receive instant information of new videos uploaded. Thank you.
Hello friends, welcome to this sixth lecture of a series of lecture on metal welding processes. In this lecture we'll be discussing about gas tungsten arc welding or tungsten inert gas welding. It's also known as GTAW or TIG welding. So one of the limitations of the gas metal arc welding or MIG welding is that it is difficult to weld magnesium and aluminum, particularly non-ferrous material, because these materials have a tendency to undergo oxidation at elevated temperature. Also, particularly welding of thin sheets is difficult in gas metal arc welding or other welding processes. So therefore, engineers around the world needed a method, a technique of welding which is capable of welding thin sheets as well as welding magnesium materials like magnesium efficiently and welding materials like magnesium, aluminum, stainless steel. So the answer to that problem is probably gas tungsten arc welding or GTAW or tungsten inert gas welding. So what is this gas tungsten arc welding process? It's a arc welding process just like any other arc welding process. It produces a coalescence of the joining materials or metals to be joined by hitting them with an arc. And how is the arc produced? The arc is produced between a tungsten electrode and the workpiece. Remember, this tungsten electrode is a non-consumable electrode and it does not get consumed by the heat of the arc, because a tungsten normally has around 200 to 3250 degrees Celsius melting point. So tungsten electrode does not melt by the heat of the arc. So, and the shielding is obtained from the gas mixture or gaseous mixture. So it may be inert gas or a mixture of inert gas and an active gas, but mostly we use inert gas in this type of process. Now if you require to add additional material, we would be doing that using a filler wire. The filler wire will be put near the arc and it will be melted by the heat of the arc and will be deposited in between the two metal pieces which you are joining. The setup consists of like this. There is a welding gun which carries the tungsten electrode. Tungsten electrode diameter varies from 1.6, 2.4, 3.5, 3.4 like that. Normally it's around 2.4 to 3.4, 3.5 we use that, or 3.2. So here the electrode gun carries the tungsten electrode and there is a pipe through which the gas or the gas mixture comes out. For the gas and the gas mixture we require cylinder or cylinders, and the power source is normally constant current power source is provided, and both AC and DC can be used. But DC under special conditions, only direct current straight polarity where electrode is negative. Electrode positive is not used, normally not used in gas tungsten arc welding because of a certain reason which we'll be discussing in later slides. So as I have said, in this process we use a tungsten electrode which is maybe a pure tungsten or alloyed tungsten consisting of alloyed like thorium, zirconium, cerium, lanthanum or mixture of them in various percentage. So the shielding is provided by a gas or a gas mixture. Normally we use argon. Argon being a heavy gas provides good shielding, but argon has certain limitations. So in place of argon we can use helium. Again, helium also has certain limitations. or so therefore the overcome the limitations of argon alone and the helium alone, we use a mixture of argon and helium, and sometimes argon and certain active gases can be used, and hydrogen can be used also, but hydrogen creates certain problems like hydrogen cracking and porosity in well porosity in aluminum. So therefore it is important the way we select the sealing gas. The power source that we used is normally constant current power source, and both DC and AC can be used. When you are using the DC power source, we will prefer to use direct current state polarity or direct current electrode positive, DC EP or DC SP. Sorry, electrode negative, DC EN or DC SP. EN means electrode negative. We do not use electrode positive. So we can see you can use argon or certain active gas like hydrogen and helium argon mixture. So this slide shows certain advantages of argon. That this welding speed is slow, whereas the helium the welding speed is high because the penetration is more in helium, while penetration is less in argon. And arcing is easy in argon, whereas arcing is difficult in helium. So it has good arc stability, whereas less stability in low ampere. So each has its own advantages. Therefore, if we mix both, so we can take advantage of this we can take advantages of each up to certain level. So therefore, argon and helium is also preferred. So what are the electrode that we use? As I have said, we use a tungsten electrode, which is a non-consumable electrode and which does not melt. Non-consumable means which does not melt by the heat produced by the arc. So if you require additional material to be deposited, that has to be supplied separately in the form of filler wire. So what is this tungsten electrode? Tungsten electrode has a melting temperature which is highest among the pure metals, which is around 3400 degrees centigrade. However, by the heat of the electrode, sometimes a little bit it can burn off and can be deposited in the weld. Now, if the tungsten is by any chance burns off and deposited in the weld, it will make the weld quality poor. It will make it highly brittle. So therefore, we do not want a tungsten electrode burn off, and therefore we prefer to use electrode negative condition in DC always. So ISO has defined this tungsten electrode, as well as American Welding Society has defined the tungsten electrode, which we will be seeing in the next slide. The specification provided by ISO and the American Welding Society. But for the time being, you should know that we can use pure tungsten for certain cases. For certain cases, we will be using alloy tungsten. Why are these alloys added? These alloys are added to increase the current carrying capacity, increase the arc stability, increase the mechanical properties, arc stability. So certain benefits are obtained from addition of certain alloying elements. So what are these alloying elements? Let's see. We can use thorium, zirconium, lanthanum, cerium, and cerium lanthanum both. So in different percentage, maybe 1%, 2%, 3%. So these are the colors which are provided by, I think this is by ISO, and you can see for AWS these are the colors, and for ISO these are the colors. So each has its own advantages. See, this pure has stable arc, so easy arc ignition. So we can use thorium. For zirconium, stable arc with higher carrying capacity and less weld puddle contamination risk. Okay, so there is no radioactive risk using lanthanum, whereas using thorium there is a risk of radioactive. So these are these certain applications of the different types of tungsten electrode used in gas tungsten arc welding. So you can see from this side, from this slide, for pure tungsten, for aluminum and magnesium can be used for different diameters. You can see 1.6, 2.4, 3.24 like that. Current is AC, AC-DC, lanthanum, carbon steel, stainless steel, nickel alloy. So these are mentioned here. So you can, these are for particular company. You can refer to catalog for different companies which manufacture tungsten electrode, and accordingly you should be selecting your tungsten electrode for your application. So this gives us an idea about the amperages and of course the diameters that is available. Normally it's 1.6, 2.4, 3.24, 4.8 like that. It is available in the market, and you can see the current varies from 60 to 650 for direct current, and alternating current 45 to around 450 ampere. Okay. So again, this chart shows the uses of the different materials. I can see the power supply. Always direct current, electrode negative. Electrode positive is not used. Otherwise, burn off may takes place, and tungsten can be deposited in the weld metal pool. Okay, one very important question, very often asked, and a very important thing is that while welding aluminum and magnesium, which is one of the primary application of gas tungsten arc welding or TIG welding, that we use AC welding power source. So why do we use AC welding power source while welding of aluminum and magnesium? The reason is that while welding AC and welding aluminum and magnesium, what happens when these materials are exposed to air? Oxide layers are formed at elevated temperature, and therefore if not removed, this oxide layer can exhibit poor weld fusion. And using alternative current, it gives a cleaning action. So what is this cleaning action? So in alternative current, during one half of the cycle, the electrode becomes positive, and during other half of the cycle, the electrode becomes negative. Now when the electrode is positive, the electrons from the workpiece jumps towards the electrons from the workpiece jumps towards the electrode. When it jumps towards the electrode, it blasts off the surface oxides, and the penetration is obtained when electrons jumps from the electrode when electrode is negative towards the workpiece. Therefore, alternative current is always preferred for welding of aluminum and magnesium. It is a popular question very often asked in interviews. Okay, some variations of TIG welding, cold wire welding or cold TIG, we often call it cold TIG. Cold TIG is nothing but the filler material we add separately, which is basically in cold condition. It's a manual welding process. We apply the filler material manually, normally manually in the arc zone, and you can control the amount of material that is deposited. So that is called cold TIG. In hot TIG, we feed it normally by a feeder, and which the electrode is heated. So that increases the deposition rate and deposition efficiency also. And of course, nowadays the TIG welding or gas tungsten arc welding is used in various applications, from additive manufacturing to cladding also. So one of the major applications that is coming up, people are researching, is application of gas tungsten arc welding in additive manufacturing. Okay, some very often asked, discussed or referred is what is scratch TIG. Scratch TIG is basically a way of starting the ignition or arcing. So you scratch the electrode and arcing will start. So this is a very crude method of doing so. While doing this, electrode may burn off and get deposited. Similarly, lift arc also, it is also not a right way of initiating the arc. Here, just like your silted metal arc welding process, it is like a touch start. You complete the circuit and then lift the tungsten electrode, and the arcing will take place. Again, in this type, the electrode may burn off and the tungsten may get deposited in between the weld metal pieces. So this is also not preferred, but this is a basically if you are using, this is normally used when you are using a MIG welding setup for TIG. Lift TIG is normally used. So if you have a dedicated TIG machine, then that should be high frequency TIG having a field start. So high frequency TIG having a field start is basically you apply a high strength electric field So because of this high strength electric field, the electrons will start emitting electrons, and the arcing will start. Okay, so that is the best way of initiating the arc in gas tungsten arc welding or TIG welding. But however, remember, this high frequency can interfere with the electronics if it is in the nearby periphery area, including laptop computers or any other CNC machines. Okay, now another new variation of TIG welding is basically activated TIG welding or ATIG welding. So one of the limitations of TIG welding is that it is normally preferred for thin plates and the penetration is less in TIG welding process or gas tungsten arc welding process. Now people have researched and came up with a technique of the or a variation of this TIG welding process, which is called activated TIG, where we can increase the penetration by applying a layer of fluxes. So the common fluxes that are used are magnesium carbonate, magnesium oxide, manganese dioxide, calcium oxide, aluminum oxide, zirconium oxide, etc., and very other types of, there are many types of fluxes that are available for activated TIG welding. So this powdered fluxes in the size of around 30 to 60 microns are mixed with the solvent and then applied over the two metal pieces which you are joining. Now what happens when you apply this thin layer of fluxes? There is an effect, reversal effect of Marangoni effect. A reversal of Marangoni effect takes place, so the heat is not able to come out, rather the heat penetrates inside, it penetrates inside the weld bit and provides a narrow heat affected zone and much higher depth of penetration. So this technique is still being researched, and however it has some cases it produces a slag which is unwanted, but that can be easily avoided by using certain techniques. So this is one of the varieties of varieties of TIG welding known as activated TIG welding. These are the differences between TIG welding and activated TIG welding. The advantages of the gas tungsten arc welding or the TIG welding is that we do not use any kind of flux, so there is no chance of flux entrapment except for TIG welding, of course, and the operator has a clear visibility. The process is not that complicated as in gas metal arc welding. Spatters is less, and it is suitable for welding thin plates, and of course it is suitable for welding non-ferrous materials like aluminum, magnesium, and of course it is preferable for stainless steel 304, 308, something like that. So those are preferably welded by this process. At disadvantage, of course, it is a slow process compared to MIG welding or gas metal arc welding, and sometimes the tungsten, as I've said, get transferred to the molded metal pool, contaminating the same. And if by chance the filler rod comes out of the inert gas seal, it can cause weld metal intercontamination. The equipment costs are higher than that of the flux sealed metal arc welding process. So these are the limitations and applications. I have said it can be mainly used for thin plates and popularly used for welding of aluminum, magnesium, copper, nickel, stainless steel. These are the materials which are normally welded by this process, and thin sheets are preferred for welding by gas tungsten arc welding processes. So thank you for watching this video. In the next video we'll be discussing about submerged arc welding process, so don't miss out. And once again, thank you for watching this video.